Holy Night Empire, northwestern coastline. As the receding seawaters drew the broken stones and splintered wood into the boundless sea, the Black Shell army emerged on the wet beach with a large swarm of emperor crabs. The famished sea of emperor crabs excitedly scavenged through the rubbled ruins of the coastal cities and towns. However, they could hardly find any human corpses to feast on. Ordinary people couldn't have survived the powerful sweeping tidal wave, but even they should have left behind bodies. There was no reason for a coastal city of more than 100,000 people only to have a few hundred corpses. In fact, there was far more human food than human bodies in the coastal ruins. A comparison was not needed at all. The difference could be clearly seen at a glance. There was so little human meat that the emperor crabs fought each other over them. Why are there so few people? The Black Shell general frowned. Despite taking over the coastline in a single move, the Black Shell general felt unhappy with the achievement. The destruction of the coastal city didn't mean anything if its population wasn't killed with it. Where did most of the people go? Did they know the plan and evacuate beforehand? The Black Shell general's doubt was spot on. Although 3 hours was not a lot of time, it was still enough for Astoria to alert her empire's coastal cities and order an evacuation. With the Red Dragon clan's help, it was far too easy to relocate entire cities of population. Unfortunately, that was it: evacuate the people. There was no time for anything else. The people had to abandon everything they owned in the coastal cities and couldn't bring anything that would slow them down. Although Astoria planned to send disaster relief to help the victims get back on their feet after the war, it did not stop the old and stubborn from standing their ground. They preferred to live and die with their homes. As such, they gladly stayed behind and welcomed the disaster. Astoria could not save those who did not wish to save themselves. No, it should be said that she could save those who sought to die. 10 kilometers inland from the coastal city, a defensive line was formed with imperial soldiers and holy knights. A defensive barrier was also erected to ward off the seawater in case it reached them. However, their worries were for naught. The 15-meter-tall tidal wave did not come close to reaching their defensive line, which was found on higher ground. In fact, the tidal wave only swept as far as 2 kilometers inland. It was just a single wave brought by the celestial army. There was only so much seawater it could bring with it. A large celestial object falling into the boundless sea from heaven would generate far more damage than what the celestial army could conjure with its troops. Gilbert Vuron, the 12th progenitor, was in charge of watching over the Holy Night Empire's coast with his small army of 20,000 vampiric soldiers. It was what he could gather in a short time. Originally, he thought it was enough. After all, how powerful could the people of Pangaea be? Alas, Gilbert Vuron had thought wrong. When he observed the flooded coast in the distance, he knew his 20,000 vampires weren't enough, and his own strength was severely inadequate. He could sense auras that were even more powerful than their strongest great devil. Moreover, such auras were at least in the dozens. As for auras on par with him, they were in the thousands. What the hell did I get myself into? Gilbert Vuron muttered to himself. There was simply no way he could hold back the celestial army, even if he teamed up with the local humans. Even so, he did not dare to flee since he was even more afraid of the heavenly devil. Behind the defensive line, humans were still getting evacuated as the Imperial Army aided the officials in moving them to other cities. As such, Gilbert Vuron had no choice but to hold his ground. Meanwhile, the Black Shell army of the Celestial Kingdom eventually grasped the situation after taking over the coast. General, we have located large groups of humans 10 kilometers inland. It seems they were alerted of our attack and evacuated the city beforehand. I thought as much. Rally the troops. There's nothing of value here. We will continue to advance and sweep away the humans inland. Yes, General. Once the Black Shell general gave his order, the celestial soldiers quickly complied. They reorganized their ranks and also informed the Emperor Crab clan to lead the advancement. N/O/vel/B/in.C/in.C/om. The Emperor Crabs had never been so far inland, but the sight of their large swarm running across the plains could chill the hearts of most people. They would leave behind wastelands in their wake. Boom! As they crawled their way to the humans' defensive line, a sudden beam of black-red flames struck the middle of the Emperor Crab clan's swarm. A scorching explosion erupted on impact, consuming thousands of Emperor Crabs in an instant. However, the black-red flames were unlike anything the Celestials had ever seen. It didn't burn as much as it was corroding. Anything touched by the black-red flames would disintegrate rapidly, like trillions of tiny bugs eating away at them. Moreover, the flames howled like countless vengeful spirits. The scene of getting burned by these black-red flames was beyond dreadful and tragic. Even the Emperor Crabs weren't immune to the terror of the devilish black-red flames after witnessing it once. They quickly fled away in fear. We're under attack, a celestial commander quickly alerted. The Black Shell general glanced up at the sky, where the black-red flames had descended. After squinting his eyes, he noticed a human figure clad in jet-black clothes hovering there. An expert, the Black Shell general determined, eyes lighting up with fighting spirit. However, his gaze quickly froze in shock when he witnessed the magnitude of Valifor's follow-up attack. Countless swirling whirlpools of darkness appeared in the sky like tiny entrances to the underworld before arrows of azura flames fired from them. They rained death from above and brought hell to the Emperor Crabs. Take cover. The novel will be updated first on this website. Come back